Ngozi, a 42-year-old woman, was the epitome of strength and resilience, juggling many responsibilities without complaint. Married to John, a man she deeply loved, Ngozi had always envisioned a partnership that would support and uplift them both. However, her reality was far from what she had hoped. Every morning, Ngozi would wake up before everyone else in the household at the crack of dawn, her body already tired from the previous day's work. She would bathe her 3 children, help them into their school uniform, and prepare breakfast for everyone in the family. The children, still young, were often scattered around, needing her attention. She still tried to make sure everyone was ready for the day. Afterwards, she would head to her small store outside their home. There, she would start her daily work, frying akara, setting out pap and loaves of bread to sell to early morning customers. Workers, school children, and passerby would stop by to buy a quick breakfast, and Ngozi would serve them with a tired but welcoming smile. Despite her exhaustion, she took pride in her small business, knowing that the little money she made helped to support her family. After she's done selling for the day, still in the morning hours before noon, she will return back home to sweep, mop, and tidy up the rooms. She'd wash the dishes and do the laundry, all before heading out to the market to buy foodstuff for her home and for her business. All this time, her husband John would remain in the living room, lounging on the couch, his eyes glued to the television screen or his phone. Sometimes he'd play games on his phone, other times he watched his favorite shows. Though he did menial jobs, but his income was inconsistent. Some days he found work as a laborer, other days he returned home empty-handed. More often than not, the burden of keeping the family afloat fell on Ngozi's shoulders. Meanwhile, instead of being a supportive husband, he occasionally complained about minor inconveniences around the house, but never for once offered to help with any of the household chores. If Ngozi asked him for assistance, he would respond with a lazy, "I'm tired," or "I'll do it later," but later never came. And whenever John returned from work, on the days he actually found work, rather than appreciating all that Ngozi had done, he would immediately look for faults. "Why is there a stain on the floor?" he would ask, ignoring the fact that she had mopped the entire house earlier. "Why are the kids making noise? Can't you control them? Why is my food not hot enough?" Not once did he acknowledge her efforts or say, "Thank you." Instead, he always pointed out what he thought was wrong, making Ngozi feel like her best was never enough. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks into months, Ngozi's body began to show signs of exhaustion. She looked older than her 42 years. Her once youthful face, now marked with lines, her eyes constantly tired. She had begun to experience constant headaches and back pains. Yet, no matter how worn out she felt, she continued to manage the household and her business, putting her needs last. One evening, after a particularly tiring day of waking early to sell Akara, taking care of the children, cleaning the house, and preparing dinner, Ngozi collapsed in the living room. John, who coincidentally returned home from work at that time, rushed to her side. She tried to stand up again but was dizzy, so he rushed her to the hospital, and Ngozi was diagnosed with extreme exhaustion and stress. The doctor looked at John with concern and advised him to take better care of his wife. The doctor invited John to his office and told him, "Your wife's condition is due to stress. You must help her. Either you step up and share the load at home, or consider getting a maid. If you love your wife, you need to help her. Otherwise, the worst could happen to her health and you may lose her." John was struck by the weight of the doctor's words. For the first time, he truly realized how much his wife had been carrying alone. The long hours, the endless tasks, and the lack of help that had taken a toll on Ngozi's well-being. When Ngozi recovered and returned home, John made a commitment to change. he began to help with the children's chores, wash the dishes, and even clean the house. On weekends, instead of finding fault, he started appreciating her efforts, telling her, "Thank you for all you do." He was patient, listened to her, and even helped her with the Akara business in the morning when he wasn't working. Ngozi's health began to improve as the burden was shared. The relationship between the couple grew stronger, and John began to appreciate the silent sacrifices his wife had made for their family. As Ngozi regained her strength, she realized something important. Women should not be taken for granted. Marriage is meant to be a partnership, one that leads to breakthroughs and shared success, not breakdowns. She had always believed that love meant doing everything for her family, but now she understood that love is also meant taking care of herself and being cared for by her partner. From that day onward, John was more involved, not just as a husband, but as a partner. He learned that marriage at its core is about mutual respect, shared responsibilities, and ensuring that both partners are thriving and not just surviving.